Okay, today I'm actually going to talk about like getting into food prep, so kind of building off last week's time management. So this is kind of some skills that you can use to kind of segue from the time management skills into like a food prep. Now, if you're like me and you don't mind eating the same stuff over and over again, then like you can do like a whole week's worth of prep all at once and everything. So I do change up things every now and then and everything, but for the most part I tend to look at like, what do I like to eat? Okay, this is like the 20 different like the things I like to eat. Okay, well, I maybe get like a whole bag of like pork loins or whatever, cut them up and everything, and then put them in like containers after I cook them up and everything. So like I've got like little like glass containers like this one, or like these ones. Like these are like Anchor, so you can get these ones at like Walmart's, or you can get like plastic ones like at Walmart, Dollar General, or whatever. So like stuff like this is only like $1 at like the Dollar General and everything. So like I had gotten stuff like this like years ago. So there are like a couple ways you can do it and everything. So like the example I used with like my bag of pork loins, what I'll do is I'll cut in half and then cut each half into like seven different like seven pork chops and everything. And then so basically I get 14 pork chops now. So that's in essence dinner for 2 weeks and everything. You just like basically like put them in these and everything once it's done cooking, and then like just slide it right into the fridge. So that way, hey, look, you got like 2 weeks worth of dinner already figured out and everything. So like now of course that may beg the question of, well, I want some variety. So how do I go about doing that if I don't want to do 2 weeks worth of dinner with the pork loins or like, the pork chops or whatever? What you can do is like you could quite possibly prep 2 or 3 days out and everything. So like for instance, maybe you want to like one night have like a tuna, and then like next night you do chicken, and then maybe you do like some burgers or something for like the third night. What you can do is like get packages of stuff, and like not necessarily the big package like I do with pork loins, but get like smaller packages, like get like ground beef. Take the package of ground beef, like the ones I get at the Sam's Club. They have like a 3 different like a 1 pound instance sections or whatever. You take one of the pounds, take half and half. Maybe you make 2 half-pound burgers or whatever, and then like you have maybe lunch and dinner for 1 day, or maybe you have like use those for like dinners for a couple days. You cook up like maybe a couple tunas, like an ahi tuna or something. Cook up like some chicken, so that way you have like a lunch and dinner for like the next 3 days. And then you can also like use stuff like this for like oatmeal or cereal or whatever, and then you can just pour your milk in it, so like you can kind of prep your oatmeal and or cereal for breakfast, and doing the same kind of concept. Now you could do it like that way for 2 or 3 days and do it twice a week, or like you could do what I do, pick a day and just kind of get all the food prep done for your whole week and everything, because I'm kind of like I'd rather get everything done for the week and not have to worry about stuff, and like take this stuff and just pull it out and like, okay, here we go. But the concept is still the same, even if you're doing it only for maybe like twice a week for like 3 days and then 4 days. So like for instance, like maybe on Saturday, what you do is you prep for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and then like maybe on Tuesday you prep for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday or something, and like that's how one way you could do it, breaking like your food prep up into like twice a week or something, depending on how you want to go for it. So of course, obviously you want to find protein sources that you are going to be able to and want to eat on a daily basis. So I use examples of like getting some ground beef to make some burgers, used pork loins and like ahi tuna and chicken and everything. So of course you have to find like the nutritional approach that's going to work for you and everything. So like if you go to the extremes, like for instance vegan, and you find that veganism does work for you, then you can kind of like do the same kind of concept and everything, but use vegan type of food prep twice a week for like 3 or 4 days. You could prep once a week. And it's one of those things that you kind of have to find what works best for your schedule, and like getting into like the time management skills like with the last video. Okay, how does my daily and weekly schedule break down and everything, and where can I fit this in if you're like me, I like and like I'm like most people, I get a couple days off every week. So for me, it's a lot easier just to sit there. I'm going to do all my food prep for the whole week and everything. So my whole work week. So that way, like I said, I can just like basically like the whole concept is to taking these, pulling them out of the fridge, and grabbing and going. Now most people like are like, oh, I'm going to live out of Tupperware. It saves a lot of time and hassle in the sense that, like, for instance, it takes me maybe an hour to or an hour and a half, 2 hours, quite possibly, because like I lately I've been cooking up like like the other day I cooked up my pork loins, and it took about half an hour, and then maybe about another 10 minutes to just kind of get them in these containers and then put into the fridge. So like 45 minutes right there. Then it took me about like another 20 minutes or so the next day to kind of had some ground turkey that I cooked up for lunch. So I have pork loins for dinners and like a ground turkey for lunch and everything. So it took me about like another 15-20 minutes to get that the next day and everything, based on like how my schedule went on my days off and everything. So like of course it might your time might increase if you're cooking a lot of like veggies and stuff too. So like you kind of like you might see like a 3 hour window or time frame on like a Saturday where all you're doing is cooking your meat, your veggies, and you're getting your fruit prepped and everything. So again, it all depends on like getting down to like, okay, these are like the fruits and veggies that I like to eat on a daily basis. Let me prep those for the week, or doing it twice a week for every 3 or 4 days. Same thing like with the protein sources, whether you're vegan or carnivore or anywhere in between, getting those protein sources cooked up and like prepped for the week, or 3 or 4 days or something, however best works for you. So now I keep using the example for me that once a week usually is great for me, because that way I can focus, like, boom, done and over with. I don't have to worry about it. And so that's really like the time saver is. So now my current job, I actually like work with like people with the disability. So I pretty much go into their house as a direct support professional, and I've noticed that like how much time and effort it takes to pretty much cook and make and like prepare like every single meal. Like we're spending like half an hour doing lunch for the people that I serve in the house I work at. Another half an hour, 45 minutes for dinner and everything. So it's like you're looking at like an hour and a half like a day for like lunch and dinner. You times that by 7, you're looking at like at least 7 hours for like quite possibly like at 10, 14 hours cooking and prepping lunch and dinner for these people. I mean, there's nothing wrong with these people in the sense that like, hey, look, this is where I come in, because they can't take care of themselves. I help take care of them. But the point is with that is that 10 to 14 hours to cook and prep each individual meal versus 3, maybe 4 hours once a week to prep food. So you're cutting down at least like 10 hours, like 6-7 hours of food prep time. So there's like another like a great time saver, 6 hours a week that you're saving. And take an hour workout. So there's an hour workout each day that you can save and everything. So there's another way you can get workouts in for like so this is kind of like building off the time management skills to kind of showcase, hey, by doing food prep, you are also saving time as well to be able to get into your workout and everything. And like another great thing is you're less likely to binge on like a garbage food, because you have food ready. And like of course the big thing is you don't want to keep stuff that like the donuts and ding dongs and stuff like that in your house, so that way you're not tempted first and foremost. But the great thing with prep is like I've showed you just grab and go, and you're not getting to work like, oh man, I don't have anything to eat, so I'll just get out of the vending machine. You grab and go, and you have like you take it with you to work. You have your lunch right there, so you're less likely to eat garbage and like have to like, oh man, I have to do this and everything. And plus, like I said, it saves you at least 6-7 hours a week, which then you can then use that time to get into your workout. Maybe you've already scheduled your workout in ahead of time, so 6-7 hours you can start getting maybe other things that you would like to do. Maybe you have a book that you want to read, so there's a good 6-7 hours a week that you can spend reading that book or whatever. Or maybe like now you can maybe quite possibly watch like some extra episodes after you get done your workouts and stuff for your favorite TV show. Or maybe you save so much time during the week or whatever, you can start getting out on the weekends more. Or like during the week after you get your workout done, with saving that 6-7 hours, you can start maybe going to events during the week and everything. So that's the kind of concept of like a food prep, is like the grab and go, and making everything so much more convenient for you